Zefa that steps forward, gets a big crit onto top. There's another one! Oh, basically 3 shots! Najin White Shield, despite being heavily behind in this game, turn it around.
Will they be able to get it? Gogoing's gonna make it in. A few more hits. Will this really happen? 66 seconds. They save the Nexus.
Second man down, make that third and fourth. PK one more. It's an ace for OMG. And that's gonna be the game.
Welcome to the Bexco Auditorium in Busan, South Korea, as the 2014 League of Legends World Championship continues. We're on to the last day of quarterfinals where 2 teams remain and 1 will advance to the semis with a shot at the Summoners Cup. Just a few minutes ago, the teams were entering the building. OMG sitting backstage, getting themselves set up before heading to the main stage. Gogoing, of course, going to be looking to carry his team in this best of 5. Najin White Shield themselves checked in for their matches, getting their gear ready. Very serious looks on the faces of the players. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the continuing action here in the knockout stage as Korea's Najin White Shield and China's OMG meet on the rift to settle the score. My name is Trevor Quickshot Henry, and joining me in the analyst desk are once again Mitch Crepo Force Bulls from Evil Geniuses. The crowd loves him. Yeong-jin double of ping from Counter Logic Gaming, and rounding out the table for today is on-game netcaster Christopher Monte Cristo Michaels. Gentlemen, it's good to have you here as always. This World Championship encircles the globe with 24 live broadcast partners, bringing the excitement directly to you in over 16 different languages. Of course, we do have the crew at the LPL who are providing the coverage from the Chinese audience, and there they are today. Nice wave and a smile. Of course, Korea's on-game net is here from our host nation, covering the games in Korean. I want those figurines. The LCS team is here as well, and we'll be saying hello to Shox, as she'll be speaking to the pro players throughout the day, along with D-Man, Kobe, and Deficio, who will be casting today's series because it's Worlds. Before we get into today's series, let's take a look back at the action from yesterday. I want to talk about the quarterfinal series between the 2 Chinese squads, Edward Gaming and Starhorn Royal Club. Monty, you weren't on the desk with us for the day, but what was your take on the best of 5 and Royal Club's eventual victory?
I mean, Royal Club continued to play at the level that they've been demonstrating throughout Worlds. Uzi is obviously a monster, and EDG, I thought after a couple weeks they'd return to their LPL playoff form. They didn't. They really disappointed. I think we're going to have to give Name the Dade Award for the best player who didn't show up at Worlds this year. And also in terms of Royal Club, it's their second time in a row in the semifinals, yet they have an entirely different team except for Uzi. I think Royal Club next year should start a reality television show to replace all of the other team members with Uzi and see if they could do it again.
Double Lift, what's your take on yesterday's quarterfinal?
Well, I predicted EG 3-2, and I've never been so happy to be wrong about a prediction because it was so fun to watch Starhorn Royal Club. Uzi, I think, was the best AD carry at Worlds last year and is once again the best AD carry this year.
Well, I've never been so happy to be right about a prediction because both of you were wrong. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No,
savor it. It's a rare occurrence.
a rare occurrence indeed. But yeah, I was really happy to see Royal Club's bot lane. We mentioned Uzi, but Zero played so well. He was like peel bot extreme. He saved Uzi so many times on Janna, and that's why I think if teams figure that out and they start target banning Royal, they take away the Janna from Zero and then they ban out Ryze as well, then Royal might have some problems in the next few rounds. And we'll even see like the matchup that we're seeing later today, target bans might come into point there.
Yeah, we will find out, and we'll have to see who Royal Club will be facing because there's one spot yet to be decided for the semi-finals. Let's take a quick look at the brackets before we carry on with the show. And of course, it is the final battle between Najin White Shield and OMG to determine who will face Royal Club. And of course, we have the Samsung White versus Samsung Blue showdown still yet to come. Before we finish off this stage of the knockout round, let's take a look back at the one #World's Big Play that stood above the rest. Uzi himself is a one-man highlight reel, but his triple kill in Game 5 carried Starhorn Royal Club to the semis. From @Thermogenetic tweets, Uzi is the best ADC in the world. Doublelift shares that opinion. Imp shares that opinion. Let's roll the clip.
Name is at the back chipping away with a rat-a-tat-tat, but that might not be enough to hold them in this game. Stun to Uzi, quick silver sack, kill for Uzi. Name gonna be locked up. Name goes down, and it's all now on Koro. They dive on him, triple kill for Uzi. It's Royal Club that do it the hard way, but go through to the semi-finals.
And this was really just icing on the cake. I mean, he had played a spectacular Tristana game leading up to that, but the thing that impresses me the most about him is he understands his damage output so well, and he's really confident in his calculation. You'll almost never see him jump forward and not get the kill. He's not like one of those Tristanas that's like, maybe I can get it, jumps forward and has to flash out. He always gets the reset.
Yeah, definitely worked out in his favor. You guys at home can continue sending your choice moments from all of the games at Worlds to us by tweeting at LOL Esports with the #Worlds Big Plays. For information about all the teams, the players at Worlds, head over to lolesports.com for stats, videos, features, and more, and visit the schedule where you can vote for the team you think will be victorious in this matchup and going forward with clicking the thumbs up. You can find a brand new feature we recently rolled out by heading to watch.lolesports.com. That's where you can view the games with real-time stats in 15 different languages, along with Twitter commentary from the pros. So do check that out. Talking about some of the pros, we've actually seen 36 champions played by the contestants on the stage in Busan. I'd like to turn to our analysts and ask you guys to help put together our MVP team composition that we've done for the previous stages. Let's start with the top lane and the jungle, and with Monte Cristo.
For me, in top lane, I have to go with Ryze here. He's been such an important pick throughout the quarterfinals, and he's going to be an important pick tonight. Not because we'll see him, but because he's going to be banned probably with Gogoing and save there. But we've just seen how hard he can carry from the top lane. He's great in a lane swap situation. He has that hard CC for the jungler to come gank and get kills, and he scales into an unkillable DPS monster. So just a fantastic pick. And in the jungle, especially after yesterday's games, I have to go with Lee Sin. Insect made game-changing plays. Spirit made game-changing plays on Lee Sin as well. And just fantastic champion overall. Not a lot of damage, but if you're a player who wants a lot of utility and playmaking ability, Lee Sin is it.
And if we're moving down a map, we came from top to jungle, then we have to talk about mid lane. And yeah, we've had all these assassins, but I really like the Syndra pick. She's not been picked that very often, but in 4 games, she was already involved in like 27 kills on her own. So that just shows how bloody, such of a monster she is. Okay, maybe a little biased because the Chinese play even more bloody playstyle, but I like her, and I'm waiting to see the Syndra Zillion comp because I just think that's so good. Speed Syndra up, just go all in, ulti, get revived, play the match out.
And Doublelift, round out our composition with AD carry and support.
Oh man, it's been such a pleasure to watch these bottom lanes. So AD carry, Twitch, picked 8 times in Busan so far, and with a 75% win rate, this guy, it's really surprising me that he's picked actually the same amount as the highest picked AD, which is Lucian. They're tied. I thought that Lucian would be a more kind of like all-around good pick, but Twitch has seen a lot of play too, so I think it just means that every team is willing to 2v1. They understand 2v1 really well. Twitch is the weakest AD carry among like Twitch, Lucian, Tristana, Kog'Maw. He's probably the weakest in lane, but if you can get him past that laning phase, he has such a monstrous team fighting ability that it just kind of makes up for that. And the support, I have to pick Janna. She's just incredibly good. It kind of scales exponentially with how aggressive your AD carry is. The more aggressive your AD is, the more you can use Janna. If your AD carry is already defensive, you don't need that extra peel that Janna provides. But Uzi, you saw he works so well with Zero because he goes in and then Uzi gets him out. Or sorry, Zero gets him out.
Well, very excited from Double Lift there to round it out. You guys at home can try out this same roster by heading over to the store to pick up the Quarterfinals MVP bundle. It does include skins that were actually used by the World Championship pros, and you can throw down rune prisons. You can practice your insect kicks, practice hard. You can hurl those dark spheres and release howling gales along with your rat-a-tat-tats. While you're online, head over to Twitter. Today we're asking you guys which player and what champion has impressed you the most during the 2014 League of Legends World Champion so far, and why? So for example, we're looking for combinations like Save's Rise or Insect's Lee Sin or Uzi's Twitch like Double Lift was mentioning. In other words, which combo is the most impressive for World's Crepo? What stands out in your mind?
I feel like Mala's Thresh should be added to that list because, for one, he's such a good support player, and he really pushes out the maximum potential out of a Thresh, which is really hard because he basically knows that champion in and out, and it's always a pleasure and a joy to see him play Thresh.
Yeah, I completely agree, but we want to hear your answers as well. Send them to us at LOL Esports with the hashtag Worlds. We'll check your replies later in the show and chat about them amongst ourselves. Finally, we're moving on to today's best of 5 between Najin White Shield from Korea and China's OMG. Before we talk about OMG and their last-minute roster change, let's start with Najin White Shield. They are blue side, they have the highest seed, but I feel their vulnerabilities in their playstyle were exposed when Alliance perfect gamed them and Cloud9 took a win off them, forcing them into that tiebreaker for the top seed. Monte Cristo, what have OMG learned from the group stages from Shield's play?
Well, they probably learned about their early game kind of lacklusterness. If the jungle ganks don't go right, they typically go very, very wrong for Najin White Shield, and then they have to overcome like a giant kill deficit. Also, their pick and ban phase can be a little shaky at times. Sometimes we see inappropriate picks like top lane Riven when there's a lane swap going on. Look, top lane Riven will work for save, but he needs to get that 1v1. So I think a little more caution in the pick and ban phase is warranted from Najin White Shield, as well as shoring up Watch's early jungle pathing.
Yeah, I've got a question about Watch. It's somebody that we've discussed quite heavily off air. Monty, share some of your thoughts on this jungler, because you said the best he ever played was at regionals when he qualified, but he hasn't lived up.
Yeah, look, I've been watching this guy for years, and yes, he's got a decent KDA at 4.58, and his kill participation is a little lower, not only because he's been a little underwhelming, but also because they tend to play a split push style, so you don't get those big team fights where a lot of players will get high kill participation. But he really needs to step up his game. In the Alliance game, we saw him go 0-3-0 early. He kind of started the shook snowball that made it so they really couldn't do anything at all in that game, because he had some pretty, there's no way to put this, better way to put this, but awful ganks in that game. And so he needs to really think about how he paths on the map and be a little more clever in his decision making instead of so easily readable.
So Crepo, let's move on to OMG. They have changed their support. Dada777 failed to impress in the group stages. He has been subbed out for Cloud. This is not a new thing. OMG have done this throughout the course of the LPL. Talk to me about Cloud and what this is going to mean for the Chinese squad.
I think regardless of like synergy issues, this will still be a good change for OMG, because Dada was just underperforming at Worlds. He was just not showing up. And if we go back and we look at the records back when Cloud was on the team, they went 16-5 with him, and I believe like 1-6 right after once he was off the team, once Dada joined. So that disparity is so big, and if they can even get a fraction of that power back into this game, this match will be a lot closer than it would have been with Dada.
And Double Lift, what about the change for the AD carry perspective? How is this going to affect San coming into this?
Well, I have a lot of experience playing with new supports. I've played with several across my career, and I can tell you it's actually not as hard as people think to switch to a new support if you're going to be playing defensive. If you play aggressive, you have to be very precise. Your communication and timing and synergy has to be on point, because playing aggressive just takes a lot more coordination. But if all San is going to do is farm, which is what I've seen him do with Dada, then it's totally fine. They can just transition that into better vision control with the support later, and the AD carry can just team fight. And San actually has an incredible way. I think the statistic is that he gets the most CS differential between 10 and 20 minutes, which means he catches up the most out of any AD carry between 10 and 20 minutes, because that's when he gets away from Dada.
So briefly, let's quickly talk about LoveLing in the jungle. Played as Alan last year in the support, moved to the jungle role, and he's been hit or miss. I asked you about Watch earlier. What's your opinion on LoveLing, Monte Cristo?
LoveLing is another I think, jungler like Watch that either has a huge game or he doesn't really show up at all. I mean, taking a look at some of the statistics of this guy, he's got a lot higher kill participation than Watch, but again, they're more, but a lower KDA. So he's been so good getting big carry status in some of these games, but if he doesn't make an early impact, he really doesn't make an impact at all.
All right, so we've heard from the analysts briefly on the series. I want to put their knowledge to the test and figure out who they are predicting to win this series between Najin White Shield and OMG Crepo. Who is your victor and why?
I was initially going to go with Najin White Shield 3-1, but the change of Dada to Cloud definitely made me reconsider for a while. I'm still going to stick to my gut, but I'm going to make it a 3-2 for Najin White Shield. But it's a big variable in there. It'll all depend on how well Cloud plays and if he can carry on the world stage, because he hasn't played a single match in World Finals so far, so we don't know how he will play.
That's right. And even with that change, I'm still going to predict Najin White Shield 3-1 to be the 3.4th Korean team to get into the semifinals. I really think that Cloud or Gorilla is still going to be significantly better than Cloud. For me, Ggoong with his small champion pool has still been a lot more consistent than Cool. Cool really hasn't lived up to expectations. Gogoing and Save, now they've both lived up to expectations. But other than that, I think that there's just a little more power on the Shield side. So 3-1 for me.
Double lift.
I had originally picked Najin Shield 3-1, but after this change, I'm going to go with OMG 3-2 because I just really think that this change is all OMG needed to go from a team that just barely made it out of groups to a team that can make it go all the way to semis. The one thing I'm going to be looking out for is really LoveLing versus Watch. I really think this is the match where Watch will be exposed as a weak jungler with poor decision making. LoveLing hasn't been amazing, but he's been a lot better than Watch in my mind.
All right, we'll see how that pans out. Freak also switched his vote from Najin Shield to OMG with the return of Cloud. So he feels that OMG will win this series 3-2. We're split on the analyst desk as we were yesterday. Let's see how you guys at home have been voting on lolesports.com. According to those votes, 65% of you believe that Najin White Shield will advance to Seoul. You are siding with Monte Cristo and Crepo. And this is the last quarterfinal series here. And of course, we can't leave without the Prophet's thoughts. Even though his divine presence is not here on the desk, his prediction is with us. We reached out to Professor Crumbledore. He now has picked 10 of the last 11 games correctly. And in this matchup, he has foreseen that Najin White Shield will come out the victors. So let it be written, let it be crumbs.
Let it be crumbs.
We're going to head over to the casters to kick off game one, but first let's hear the two teams talk about the players and strategies that will make a difference in this best of 5.
OMG가 일단 해외 경험이 많다 보니까 경험적인 측면에서 그 팀 자체는 호흡이 잘 맞을 것 같고요.
打野是非常有名嘛，然后他们中单就是觉得比较就很稳定，然后他们整体队伍可能像我们中国战队的 EDG。
중국 쪽이 거의 한국이랑 좀 플레이 스타일이 비슷하다고 하잖아요. OMG가 거의 저희 옛날에 하던 탑미드 캐리 위주로 좀 밀어주는 느낌을 받았었는데 그런 팀은 저희도 해봤고 잘 안 된다는 걸 느꼈기 때문에
我们一定要把握整场比赛的节奏。我觉得我们要赢他们，就不要让他们稳下来，就加快比赛的节奏，让节奏一直掌握在我们手上。我觉得赢他们就不算很难的事情。
Hello everyone, I am Lee D-Man Smith and I'm joined behind the caster desk by Martin DeVicio. It's Worlds, Lunga, and of course Sam Kobe Hartman.
Is that ever going to get old?
Never, never. I mean, every single person I've met today has been saying, it's Worlds.
Just never forget.
Okay.
Just never forget.
I mean, you're not lying. It is Worlds.
It is Worlds.
So.
Well, let's get things underway for these teams. Starting out, of course, on the blue side. They are Najin White Shield, the #1 team coming from Group D, of course, after that crucial tiebreaker with Cloud9. Starting out in the top lane, we have Save. In the jungle is Watch, Ggoong in the mid lane, Zefa as the AD carry, and Gorilla on support.
And on the red side, representing China, it's OMG. Up top is Gogoing. In the jungle, LoveLing. Mid, Cool, AD carry San, and support Cloud.
And of course, for this game, we're going to focus on the top lane. The battle between the two superstars. As Save will be going head-to-head with Gogoing.
Yeah, and we have two teams right here who focus a lot on the solo lanes, which simply means Gogoing and Save, they can be carry top laners, and they are superstars on their teams. We see a lot of focus on them in like pick and ban phase, but also in the game itself, it's often about who can get your top laner ahead.
And that's going to be a big part of the jungler's job this time around. It's interesting because both these teams have those inconsistent junglers. They're going to be a big unknown variable for that featured matchup of the top lane. Another cool thing is that both of those guys up there, they like to give direction to their team, even though they do have other shot callers. Both of them also help out with shot calling.
But is that a cool thing or just a thing?
Freak's not even on the desk today.
Started early. We got to fill in for him. So, of course, you just saw Ggoong focus there on this. Of course, we saw similar from Uzi, not with his team. Are we going to see any similarities with OMG today with the Starhorn Royal Club? Of course, this is a team that they've gone head-to-head with so many times. They know these best-of-fives very well because they've always gone the distance in them. But they're up against Najin Whiteshield, which is a different breed compared to Starhorn Royal Club.
Well, the biggest thing there from OMG, from Gogoing, is after last year, he was talking about how his biggest fear is being indecisive. So, as one of those shot callers, it's going to be up to him to make those clear calls.
And OMG is a very different team compared to Royal Club in terms of how they look at the team itself. They have a lot of talk about doing activities outside the game, you know, being friends together. So we have to see what they can do, and I don't expect anyone to be left on stage.
And I didn't expect a Jace ban, that's for sure. Bans have come thick and fast. Maokai Rise kind of expected top laner. We heard, of course, Monte Cristo talking about Save and Ggoong fighting over that one. Zillion Thresh and Alistair, very standard. But a Jace ban?
Yeah.
Wow. They have something planned here.
The bans came out really quick. The Jace ban, Deficio and I were looking at the Korean solo queue ladder account of Cool, and he actually had just been playing Jace. So same research done from Shield, it looks like here, preemptive Jace ban.
But it does mean Zed first pick.
Yeah.
And Ggoong so far is undefeated on Zed, and Safe can even play it in the top lane, so it doesn't have to go mid lane.
And it means that on the other side, OMG were able to trade Lee Sin and Janna, two huge picks for them.
Absolutely. So, of course, Zed was first pick against, it was Group 1 to Game 1 of Group D. Can't remember which one it was. Blind picked it. Absolutely awesome. But like you said, this is a big thing we've been talking about. LoveLing versus Watch. It's almost a second featured matchup because it pairs in with Save and Gogoing. And they will have to help each other out. That is possibly the lanes to carry. Of course, a lot of focus is on the fact that Clouds come in. We will see which way it goes. Zefa's played a lot of Twitch in the regional qualifiers. Has yet to pull it out here in groups. Did go with Corky a lot.
Okay, so this does probably back to Twitch. Twitch was his like main AD carry. If you look at regionals, and the way Whiteshield liked to play with the Twitch was he was gonna be the guy popping out whenever they want to start picks or team fight and just have the high burst for these 7 seconds and use that to quickly burst down targets. Instead though, falling back on the Corky.
The crowd are just like,
We saw it a few times. I mean, mid-game AD carries has been a big thing at Worlds so far.
Yeah, and you could tell what was going through Shield's heads right there. They were sort of mousing over the Nocturne and the Twitch, which were regular season picks for them, but they went with their group stage picks at Worlds this time around. Kha'Zix has been pretty big for him, as well as that Corky, as you mentioned. But man, I want to go back to that Lee Sin. I feel like that is just a huge, huge swing in this jungle matchup. For LoveLing, this is his favorite champion, and that's a really crucial first lock-in.
And it's also Watch's favorite champion. So not only do you get LoveLing on his main pick, you can also deny it from Watch here. And you now have a Sidestone jungler against the Kha'Zix who normally doesn't build Sidestone, which is going to be a big deal because Najin Whiteshield is a team who's known for their vision control. Small edge to OMG already just looking at the junglers.
All right, so they did just lock in Ahri, which is huge for Cool. That's actually one of the big reasons that they got their seed here. That third place seed was a big carry game of Ahri from him. And it opens up a lot of pick potential. It's always a fun matchup to watch, this skill matchup between Zed and Ahri in the mid lane. And can he land the charm?
And the one thing, of course, for Gorilla is he's picked and played any support he wants really damn well, that's for sure. Of course, Nami was one of the fallbacks, but it looks like Braum could well be the choice this time around. He's hovering over it. Certainly given it a lot of thought, and we're still wondering what is going to go in that top lane. We haven't seen either of them go with it yet. Oh, this is great. So this happened.
Top lane Zed.
This happened, of course, against Cloud9. As you mentioned, it could be Zed or Kassadin. Save and Ggoong can switch this. Whatever gets picked now from OMG.
And count them. That's 3 assassins over on the side of Najin White Shield and a black shield to protect them from the charms. So they're going to have some quick shield from Gorilla, and they're just going to rely on a ton of damage.
There's so much single target damage and like pick potential from White Shield. Gorilla is a beast in terms of skill shots as well. He can land the binding. He makes it pretty much impossible for OMG to get an engage in now. You have the list and he wants to kick back a target. Nope, Black Shield is there. Charm as well from Ahri, making it really hard for OMG to actually engage onto White Shield, and they can set up the picks. And they love to split push. And OMG as a team is very tunnel visioned on 5 versus 5 team fights. They are not very good against split pushers. Now you have a Kassadin and a Zed.
Okay, so which one would you prefer? Obviously Aurelia's going to be in the top, it seems. It's going to be an Aurelia or an Ahri. What would you pick against either?
Oh, that's a tough one here. I mean, Zed against Ahri in mid lane. Zed has the pressure early on, so that could be in favor of Ggoong. But once Ahri gets a blue buff and cooldown reduction and some armor, like an arm guard, she can actually take over the lane. So maybe we're going to see them swap after the start. So Zed in mid lane for the first few levels, then swap later on when the blue buff comes in. Blue buff Kassadin, blue buff Ahri. You go even against each other, armor on one side, and then Kassadin has the...
So one more final thing, with an Aurelia in there. Are we actually going to see a split push from OMG? Because they like to team fight.
I doubt it. If they do split push, it's usually only for maybe 60 seconds or something, and then he'll join the team for a team fight. I think if it's going to be split pushing prowess, you got to go with Shield here, especially because they have so many options with which to do it. And that's a great thing about locking in 2 different damage type assassins. As you said, they can switch around who's going into that lane depending on what sort of defenses have been built from OMG.
Yeah, and it's going to be so scary. If Cool in the mid lane on Ahri doesn't actually get a lead early and snowball, he will never be able to kill Zed in the late game in a split push. If, however, he does get the lead, and because there's such a strong mid game here from OMG, they might be able to actually just win early game, win mid game, and close it out even before this Kassadin gets going and before Zed gets going at all.
Yeah, I mean, as good as the Ahri from Cool has been, this matchup is so tense because if you miss that one charm, Zed can all in you.
Absolutely. This could be a very big first game here, of course, as we start this series off. Who do you guys at home think will take it in Game 1? Tweet us at LOL Esports and use either the hashtag NWS win or OMG win, and we'll look at those votes shortly. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1 of the quarterfinals. The final quarterfinals here in Busan. Winner will face Starhorn Royal Club. Meanwhile, the loser will sadly go home, and all China's hopes are on OMG here.
All right, now this game, I just have to say, it would be tragic if there were lane swaps. I'm 100%, everybody in the audience is also rooting for regular lanes because this matchup, Gogoing versus Save, on 2 of their classic champions, 2 of their best champions. This is like one of the most looked forward to Chinese versus Korean solo lane matchups, you know, right up there with Uzi and Imp. This is just going to be so good in top lane.
And it's funny if you look at the 2 teams and the players, they kind of have the same style. Because you have this carry solo laners on both teams, Cool and Gogoing, and Save and Save and Ggoong on the other side for Najin White Shield. And then you have somewhat weaker AD carries, where the supports of course have to try and carry them through the laning phase, and they need to get to this mid late game point before they can really impact. And then the inconsistent junglers who can show up. I think LoveLing might have an edge over Watch though.
Oh yeah, that Lee Sin pick is going to do wonders. We'll see if he does actually spend time up on that top side of the map. That vision point that you made was going to be a really big thing too, because building into that Sight Stone will allow OMG to get more vision than usual. The thing is, Najin White Shield are so good at clearing out vision. Save has the most wards per minute cleared of any top laner.
This is going to be a push, and they're going to go straight blind into this push. They have to start out with a ward here, or maybe it's going to be a binding from Save. We'll see how they go in. They're going to start setting up. It's going to be an invade any second. 148. Keep your eye on the clock. Neither of them can see each other.
There.
Face them straight in there. LoveLing's going to go too, but he manages to get out safe. Watch is taking low. The exhaust is working on him. The OMG going to back away, but they are the ones with first blood, and they are still pushing.
It was only 4 members from OMG here, but the Howling Gale from Jenna at level 1 is so strong. It knocked up every single member from White Shield here. Gorilla couldn't flash away in time, ends up dying.
Cool went back so late to base there, 4 versus 5. What a big start here. Let's see how this first blood. Oh, it's going to be lane swaps after that.
No. Standard lane, just the top side.
The answer swap.
The switcheroo, and of course, both of them fighting on early. We'll see how it works out because it was San that picked up that first blood, so he can go back and get himself a chunk more gold than Zefa will have a chance. Gogoing teleporting down the bottom. Save already done it as well, so we'll keep an eye on this one because it's not your stereotypical setup, a Kassadin versus an Aurelia in the top lane that's down the bottom.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Save. The funny part is he has these very unique champion picks. Again, we've seen Zed top lane, the Kassadin we see right now. He plays AP Nidalee top lane as well. Like, he's so many unique picks, and LoveLing, he wants to invade already.
I mean, it was a really good ward by Shield because LoveLing, one of the great things about him last year is he did these interesting routes that people weren't expecting. It was like he goes, fight, Watch got it!
Watch gets it, LoveLing's in trouble. Cool and coming around the side there, there's Ggoong. LoveLing goes down, the double buff goes across, a single buff, sorry, it only went to Ggoong because he hadn't taken the blue yet.
Last year, he would do these level 2 red-to-red invades or level 2 dives, and they worked out for him then. But what a good counter from Shield. They have the ward in place. They see his invade and collapse. Great job from the mid. And
he's going for it. The Ignite goes down. He's got the red buff ticking. That keeps the slow on Cool. Cool forced out the way there. And this is going to cause so many problems for Cool in that mid lane. A red buff Zed this early on. He can just go all in again in a moment.
Yeah, and that was a very big mistake from OMG in this mid lane. Cool, he wanted to push out the wave and force Ggoong to stay on the tower and pick up the farm so he couldn't walk into the jungle and help Watch here. He did manage to get him pushed down in time. Ggoong walked in before Cool could react, and they managed to get a kill. And of course, Watch expecting the invade here, at least making it a bit harder for LoveLing.
Yeah, I have to say, for Shield, you got to give that credit to Gorilla. That ward was his ward that he bought at the very beginning. The real ward that was going to last 3 minutes.
The real hero.
I mean, you talk about all the time, the prep here from Shield for long series is so good.
Cloud putting so much damage down on Gorilla. Gorilla taking, of course, the minion hits as well, which stacked it on there. The Howling Gale interrupting him. Watch though, he is walking about here, and he's going to go straight into LoveLing once again. This time around, will they fight again? LoveLing doesn't want any of it, tries to safeguard away. Watch pounces on towards him. Lot of damage going down. Of course, that red buff slowing and burning on him, and he's not backing away. Catches him with the Void Spikes and clears out the ward.
And this is what Watch loves to do as well. Both these junglers can invade on each other, get the D wards. Watch, he does it as well. Once he gets the lead, he will live in your jungle.
Gogoing trying to put pressure on Save while this is all happening. San was making the move. We saw him there. They know he's coming down the bottom. Save's going to back away, so the lane swap once again coming in.
Yeah, jungle aggression from Kha'Zix as soon as he gets that lead over Lee Sin, and it pays off there. Save is easily able to back off. And up top, Shield are just getting a free lane here for Zefa on Corki. They're trying to get him to that level 6 point very quickly so he can start throwing out poke.
And notice how he's pushing in the wave because there's no teleport for Gogoing, so they want to deny him all the farm here in the top lane. And because the rest of the members from White Shield is on the bottom side of the map, then OMG can't just go and take the dragon.
Trouble for OMG. It's going to be a 3-man. Cloud went aggressive, but Gorilla and Watch are coming around the side. He's going to be the focus. Oh, the Dark Binding completely whips. And now they're going to try and turn this one around. It's going to be a tricky with so many minions they can't push on. And OMG get away safe.
Oh, Gorilla should have been patient there and not fire the binding straight away. She just walked into the bush here, forced the flash first, and then fire the binding later. Otherwise, Cloud might have gone down.
Yeah, a little bit trigger happy right there. Some extra vision here. Currently an advantage of Shield on the bottom side too because of that early excursion into their jungle that Watch made. Gorilla going to go the same path here. One thing with Shield, they supplement the vision that they already have with a further line of wards. So Gorilla right there, you can tell he's not taking the risk getting that deep ward, but it will provide them vision for the second blue buff spawn, and we have to watch. Since Kha'Zix is already ahead of Lee Sin, are they going to set up one of those classic second blue buff handoff ganks and try and take advantage?
Keep our eye on the difference in that mid lane. You saw the stats come up a moment ago for Ggoong. Incredible stats in the group stages on Zed, answering a lot of critics, of course. But also, just saw Cool missing out on that siege minion, so missing a lot of gold there. So he's being pressured by Ggoong, of course, who had that red buff early on, got himself that kill, and you can see the difference in gold currently between him is 500. Of course, a lot of that does go down to that gold, but definitely starting to put pressure on him in the lane phase.
Yeah, and it's such a big deal for OMG to get an early first blood on your AD carry because, again, San is this somewhat weak laner. I mean, we often hear about OMG. It's all about LoveLing, Cool, and Gogoing in this early mid game. They have to be the ones to carry it, and San just has to survive his laning phase. Giving him the first blood, I mean, it gives him the item advantage and makes him actually dominate his lane or win his laning phase.
Of course, pickaxe was picked up by San. He's back down that bottom. Wasn't quite enough money for Zefa to go for that Phaedra. Went for the second Dorans. Was left alone at the top for a fair amount of time, but is behind currently in CS on San, who's had a fair reign down the bottom here. Gorilla, though, looking to set up something. Dark Binding lands. Sun didn't even remotely dodge that.
And I have to point out, for Cloud, so he's been doing a good job controlling the vision down here in the bottom lane. Not only did he get jungle wards over on their side of the map, but he also pink warded their own blue and took out that deep ward that Shield were able to get on their last invade.
It is very important that Cool gets this blue buff when it actually spawns in the mid lane, so he can start trading with Ggoong. Once you get cooldown reduction on Ahri, you can spam this Z away from the lane here. You can make sure he can never all in you because he's too low, because he already picked up the Cutlass. And just if people wonder, when do you go Brutalizer, when do you go Cutlass on Z? If you want to be able to all in, if you want to be able to roam around, Cutlass is the best item. It gives you all in potential. Brutalizer, it's more just for poking in lane.
And look at this, expecting the all in here. LoveLing hovering around for a counter gank. Cool sort of trying to bait it in right now, daring Ggoong to go for it.
A lot of ward coverage in their own jungle from OMG. Look at the pink wards on the map right now. 3 of them down. You can see, of course, that Najin Whiteshield just picked up a few of their own and put them down. Quick burst from Zefa there, starting to land those rockets. We've seen so many good Corkis throughout this tournament. Really has been a fantastic champion, but you could say the same for Lucian. Sneaky single-handedly got that banned in the second quarterfinals, of course, against Samsung Blue. So we'll keep our eye on these AD carries, see if they draw any bans as this best of 5 progresses.
We just keep seeing teams focus on these mid-game power spike AD carries like Lucian, like the Corki, and we heard Gogoing in the interview before the game say, we want to control the pace, we don't want to let Najin Whiteshield go to the late game, so we want a strong mid-game here and try and finish out the game in time.
There it is, since that ward was cleared out, not able to take advantage of the blue handoff. Good juke there from Cool. Now,
they're moving in.
This could be a dive here.
A binding could land. This could be the end of Cool. He's in trouble. Does he realize there's no minion wave right now? Oh, they're just around the side. I think he just spotted them. Yep, ping goes down. They spotted them. They knew Gorilla and Watchers around there. That's lucky.
Now, talking about that bottom lane of OMG, I think they really need to make use of this Lucian-Janna combo. It's great at taking down early turrets, and since he did get that first blood, and he's got the early brutalizer on top of his pickaxe now, try and make use of this. Put on the shield, go in for the harass, chunk Zefa out of lane.
So we haven't really had a chance to talk too much about the top lane. Of course, we know that Cassidy's going to take a while to get going. He needs to get those items built up, but these guys are pretty much free farming at the moment. It's a straight up head-to-head between them. You can see even in CS as well. Was a wave just crushed up. Gogoing saves his teleport, doesn't make use of that, doesn't rush back in because he needs it. They're expecting a dragon soon, I believe.
Yeah, and like, I mean, just notice down towards the dragon itself. There's a lot of pink wards from both teams, actually.
Both junglers in the mid. They're coming in. Ggoong going aggressive there. There's LoveLing, catches on. Watch pounces away. Has not evolved the wings this early yet. And pink ward going down, and again, instantly protected. Gorilla comes around, it's like, hands off my pink wards. But OMG do get it down early. We also see Aurelia's going very deep in the jungle. OMG making moves here and looking to try and collapse on this mid lane.
Looks like it could be a dive here. Cool has already gone for a charm straight up in lane. We'll see if he tries to lead off with another one here. Gogoing backs off though, a little bit dangerous. They don't want to throw away early dragon.
No, but OMG has invested a lot of wards onto this dragon area here, and for now, he's been backing away. There's no ping wards to clear out the wards from Najin Whiteshield. Everyone can kind of go back to lanes, keep playing safe. Look at Save though, he's roaming from this top lane. Cool is very far up the lane. This might be scary.
There's no ward in that river. Pink ward goes down from Save. He's going to be on Cool quicker than he knows it. Of course, with that Rift Walk and Force Pulse, it will get the slowdown and may buy enough time for Ggoong. Here comes LoveLing to try and counter, but he backs away. And they choose not to go for it once again.
And again, these deep wards that Shield are keeping up inside that blue side jungle, they keep seeing LoveLing's movements. Again, another ping goes out, so they don't go for that aggressive move mid.
Basically just both teams. I mean, they have the defensive wards, they have the pings on both sides, and then they have 1 or 2 deep wards to try and spread the jungle. Yeah. This is the thing about Aurelia. Once she gets her ulti, she has this all-in potential every single time it's up.
Well, Ggoong left the lane, and that's the kick straight onto Watch. The charm doesn't go down in time, has to use his ultimate to stealth away around that tower. Ggoong came in, so they had to try and risk it, but that's 2 big ultimates down now.
And a flash as well from LoveLing here, just trying to get Watch, who just popped his ulti, and Got his stealth.
There are so many skill shots that you have to dodge in this bottom lane against Corki and Morgana. They're dodging a lot of the rockets, but then the bindings are landing because it's a great use of crossing over those two skill shots here from Zefa and Gorilla.
Dragon going to get started off here. You can see Najin Whiteshield setting up for it. They're in towards the pit. It started off. There was a ward there just a second ago from OMG. It's only just timed out, so OMG well aware of this, and they realize they can't fight for it because they just used those ultis in the mid.
Just invested 2 ultis and a flash on trying to kill Watch in the mid lane. Once they are gone, you don't want to risk take the fight. Dragon for White Shield, and remember, they have this Kassadin going into late game, there's the Zed going into late game. They are happy just sitting back and farming, and if you get a Dragon as well, that's a huge bonus for them.
Yeah, a great call right there from Shield, trying to take advantage of just the littlest of things. Like Shield didn't, or OMG didn't even take damage doing that, but because they used so many cooldowns, they were able to get inside, clear out the vision, and earn themselves that objective.
It's kind of funny how White Shield used to be this like full late game team. Back in spring 2014, when they actually got it to the final and lost to Samsung Blue, they were like known just to be late game only, and like they would out-rotate people in the late game, they would control minion waves, and then they would beat you in late game team fights. Now they've actually learned at least to play the mid game a bit better.
Bottom lane dive possibly coming in here. White Shield looking towards it. There is a pink in there from OMG, so they're going to be aware of it if it happens. And they've got to be careful. That was 5 members spent down there trying to put some pressure on, but it's giving a lot of free time in the top lane to Ggoong. He's just working down those minions and tower.
Yeah, I was wondering if Save would think that it would be worth his teleport to go up there, but it is dangerous already. We saw how much Ggoong can bully Save right now, so he has to be very, very careful whenever he goes heads up in that lane. He's still in the mana building phase for Kassadin, hasn't even completed his Rod of Ages, so it's going to be a fairly late Rod of Ages to stack up.
LoveLing's about to find Watch, goes straight in towards him, has the ward going. He flashes across, Watch in trouble. Ggoong gets himself the kill.
And we have seen this so many times already. LoveLing and Watch, they find each other, but because Ggoong had walked down from the top lane, he was ready, easy kill, and a blue buff for cool. That's very important.
And this time, LoveLing hits the Q after his kick. Very key there. Keep that vision on him and get him into position for Ggoong to dash over.
Oh, going for Ggoong here. See if Cool actually wants to jump towards him.
Ooh, good turnaround on Cool there. Wasn't quite expecting so much burst in his face, but it does force Ggoong slightly out of lane. They're going to step back in, keep it going. So, Ggoong in this top lane. Does he fancy going for save? Has his ultimate still, remember. Last time around it worked out well, but Rod of Age is not quite completed for save, while that Phage, of course, is still sitting on Ggoong. He needs to get that Triforce built up as quick as possible now.
And it's always fun to watch OMG play because, again, like the 2 solo laners and LoveLing together, they have so much synergy and they keep making plays together, they keep forcing fights.
Oh, going.
Onto Cool.
Going all in. Is it going to be enough? I don't think so. Well, Pop will definitely not have any bite behind it. Spirit Rush was used by Cool though, and he is safe and clear, and that maybe, are they going to try and force an objective off this? That was just a play from the mid laner supported by Gorilla, but not really backed up.
No, Ggoong probably wanted to bait Cool actually to take the fight with him and stay around and then maybe land a binding from Gorilla, but Cool, he was just out of the fight instantly.
Well, we do see Watch making his moves in this bottom lane, but that pink ward from San early on is keeping them covered in that tri-bush. Does mean that 3 members are there. LoveLing is backing off on top of a ward here, which means they know that this bottom lane pairing will be on their own if they can push in, but Watch is not having any of it. He's backed off, and you know, we were looking at the start of this game towards the top lane, towards the featured matchup, and we're expecting to see a lot of support from Watch and LoveLing, but honestly, both teams have just let them go at it one-on-one.
Yeah, it was actually Gogoing who came to support LoveLing and came down to pick up that kill inside the jungle. But really, yeah, Save and Gogoing up there have been left to their own devices, and honestly, it is going in Aurelia's favor at the moment. He's been able to bully Save under his tower, you know, chased Save out of his lane. He had to go down, try and create something somewhere else. Kassadin's got to worry while he still stacks up that rod.
That's the thing, man. Aurelia's mid-game, it's the power spike is a strong point, and Kassadin is actually extremely weak in the mid-game because he's still stacking up his items. He's going to need an hourglass. Normally, when we see Save play Kassadin, he likes to jump in first, bait the enemy team to go on him, and then pop the hourglass, and then simply buy time for the rest of his team to join the fight.
Yeah, it's funny because both teams are going to have those Trinity Forces, and both teams are going to have those hourglasses. Cool currently working on his as well. these teams, not only the players match up really well, but also both of these two sets of champions.
So look at the ward coverage right now. OMG have way more ward coverage. They know exactly what is going on. Watch is walking blindly into this jungle, into LoveLing's territory. LoveLing is there. Cool almost collapsed on him, and he's being forced away. Looking across, OMG obviously had the 3 wards where they went for the gank on the blue. At the moment, Najin Whiteshield are very much lacking on any ward coverage. They've gone for the 2 crucial points in OMG's jungle, but that's about it with the 1 single pick.
Keep in mind they don't have the side stone we have on the other side.
That poke from this lane. They're going to get this turret pretty soon, and that might be in time for Dragon.
It's actually perfect timing for them also because there's teleport ready on safe in case a fight should break out in this bottom lane. But it's so hard for Lee Sin to gank a Morgana lane when there's the black shield just to stop him from actually kicking back a target.
Well, the Cullen was used. That should be back up just in time for the Dragon fight if they go for it. Still trying to bait Ggoong into something here. LoveLing cleared out the pink ward in this brush just a few moments ago. I wonder if they're trying to bait him. They're going to collapse towards him. Gogoing was heading down here. We also have Gorilla just off the side, but nobody getting drawn into it. Both teams, they want to make a pick just before this Dragon spawns, but nobody is falling for the traps.
Yeah, and they're both playing it very well. You can see they're constantly fighting over those river wards, so both top laners can get their roams in. Neither of them have had their successful roams mid, though. There goes Gogoing in onto save once again, chasing him out of the lane.
Yeah, you can see he's definitely got the better of him right now. Of course, Triforce completed compared to that Rod of Ages, which is just stacking out right now. So save currently in a losing lane in that top, but he's still doing okay. They were very much even in terms of CS, but you can see it's starting to crumble in favor of Gogoing.
And it's gonna get explosive pretty soon here, especially since this shield team is so good at killing people who are out of position. Something's gonna happen for the Dragon, and then turrets can fall very quickly. This is a very good chase team here as well. If one of these bindings hits.
Ooh, Cool in trouble. He's already taken low. He can't get involved in this fight. Surely Shield have this one in their hands. Cool could play it coy. He could be fighting from the edge of the aggression range, but at the moment,
that should be the Dragon here because they don't really have good vision to get through the jungle, and if you run into another binding right there, there's so much damage with all these assassins, they can instantly kill them.
This is the second time where Cool is one of the reasons OMG cannot fight for the Dragon.
Whoa!
He's down.
Yeah, no problem there, absolutely. Good dark binding from Gorilla starting that one off, but Najin Whiteshield, they can keep on pressuring this turret. The Cully was just used. Sand is here, so they should have decent wave clear, but that tower's low.
Man, Cool, again, getting hit with the skill shots, and he finished Deathfire Grasp instead of trying to finish Hourglass really early. Didn't even get to use his activation.
Backing away. You can see Save have gone down the bottom, so he's going to see if he can pick up that top turret. Of course, don't forget, the turret at the top lane did go down to the minions, so Gogo and force that one out. Is still sitting on that teleport if required, but they're letting Zefa come in. He's going to take this mid turret.
And we're going to see this a lot from Whiteshield. They're really good at controlling the minion waves on the side lanes. So as soon as the top wave was pushing, they just group bottom lane and mid lane and therefore start pushing up the towers. If OMG send one member up to wave clear, suddenly they lack a guy, they cannot defend their towers, and easily Whiteshield rotate quickly.
And just like that, because of that one binding, the Cool Ed, they're now 3,000 gold behind because of those 2 turrets going down. Ggoong's gonna get focused on. They try to pull him back. He will go down. Save also caught out. Cool will get revenge here. He will drop. There's 2 kills for OMG. And there's the mid tower gonna go down.
So picks for each team. Last time, Shield, they took stuff off all sides of the map when they got their pick, and it was just a binding that didn't even get a kill. What can OMG get? Because they actually got 2 kills this time, but they aren't getting the objectives after. Shield got Dragon and 2 turrets off of that binding and the 1 kill.
Well, we'll see whether this tower does go down. Gorilla has got reinforcements. Zefa just caught by the tip of that light bind there. Watch comes around. That keeps them clear. But while this is all happening, Gogoing has once again headed to that top lane. Got himself free farm. Cool is starting to get going now. He's got himself that Deathfire Grasp. We just saw how potent he is against Save.
And that's
this
why
it's become a problem.
That's why he got it instead of the Hourglass, so he could actually duel cast on here. He just walked straight down to this bottom lane. Save was pushing it up, didn't expect him, and instantly just goes down. Cost him a tower as well, so big mistake by Save here, going down one-on-one.
Well, I mean, it's just these teams are so evenly matched right now. A couple of bindings hit for Najin Shield, and they get a couple objectives. OMG get a couple of picks, and now they took the bottom turrets.
The very important part though for White Shield is they got the mid tower down, and instantly you can see some depot wards on the side of OMG, because mid tower is gone. You can walk into the enemy jungle, place the wards. You can even place one in the middle of the lane so you can see the enemy team walk into their own jungle, and therefore you know when everyone is on the map.
And now we're getting towards that mid game here where Shield really shine with their split pushing prowess.
Gogoing trying to tank this one out. He may well just have enough. Flashes away from the Soul Shackles. Ggoong just comes around. 4 members of Najin White Shield pushing on the top tower. But look at this. OMG, 5 members all collapsing on this one point. They may run straight towards that tri-bush. They will back away. They're not going to go for the fight.
And once again here, big mini wave in the top lane. White Shield, they move up there. They force OMG away, even though there were 5 members. They had to run from mid lane to top lane, and they didn't do it fast enough, therefore lost the tower.
And it's not even the quantity of wards that Shield put down, it's always the quality. Right before they're going to move to this top side of the map, you point out all these wards they have on the red side. Boom, top turret's dead. Save was split pushing down bottom the entire time, so that lane is now pushing. Buys him time to go back to base and purchase this Kassadin. Rod is stacked up, and now he's got the needlessly large rod.
So something we've talked about many, many times with the Chinese teams is right there. 5 members all collapsed, but as you said, 3 members all coming from that mid lane. They could have taken the mid turret.
Yeah.
Instead, they chose, we want to fight in that top lane.
They could have decided just to trade towers, but it's what we often see, but it's also... It's so much easier for us because we see the movements up here, and when you're in the situation, you see 5 members or 2 members pushing top, and you're like, okay, let's run up and defend it, but you don't realize it's already too late, and that's why you need the quick decision making to just change your style or change your approach, and instead trade tower for tower instead of trying to run up and defend.
And that's where Shield have found so much of their success, is forcing their enemies to play reactively. They constantly are dragging them across the map and taking those little incremental leads.
Yeah, and we actually saw Cloud9 do that really well against White Shield, where they were running around the map with them, constantly traded objectives, and White Shield actually didn't really have much of an answer until the very last team fight where they managed to win it.
They did against Alliance in game 1 though. 7,000 gold behind. They managed to pull Alliance from pillar to post and completely keep them guessing. Of course, they got the revenge in game 2, but we won't talk about it. That's a long time ago. Poor old Alliance. Their perfect game. Oh, what could have been. As it stands, it's Najin White Shield that are here. They are the #1 team from Group D. And they are starting to make some moves on OMG here.
And again, drag coming up in 50 seconds. They switch their focus once again down to the bottom side of the map. Push up mid and bottom, get that vision control that they're going to need in about 40 seconds.
Oh, the kick lands, they go for save. It's a what? The jungler will go down. He gets caught out by the calling. It was Gogoing that ended it. The charm landed on save, but he happened to rift walk just at the right moment. Jungler down, dragon spawns in 20 seconds.
Look how little OMG can do though, because Shield prepped this so well, top pushing and bottom pushing. They're going to try and siege up here mid.
Oh, Cloud caught out, Gorilla backs away from this one. They do get themselves a tower. Dragon's up in 13 seconds. Oh! Damage is huge from safe. He's starting to ramp up. He had that rod. He got the boots. And now, just like that, OMG are forced away just in time for Watch to spawn.
This is why Corki has been such a big pick this world. The poke from him. Rockets landing, binding landing, and Save jumps in to pick it up.
Yeah, not the first binding we've seen from Gorilla in this game here. Taking out the kill. On the Gogoing.
Gogoing tries to go in, but he's going to get caught out. Good follows through. Here comes Save. Damage onto Sand is just massive. And they are forced away again. They can't contest this now. They have to back away and play defensive.
Those double, triple assassin comps, so fun to watch. You can see Shield jumping in. Ggoong easily able to get back to his ultimate shadow there. And after the picks, they do pick up the dragon. Again, both side lanes still pushed up. They get to continue their invade. Blue going to be a steal for them.
It's just all about this long range poke and the binding coming in, which sets up all the kills. OMG stay around, should be able to trade for a move up here, but they just wanted to take mid tower and then walk down to dragon after they got the kill on Watch. Credit to LoveLing, by the way, that was a beautiful setup by him. And then one binding lands, poke from Corki, and the all-in potential of the Kassadin.
He was expecting the quick inset kick, and he actually caught Save, ironically, and Save rift walked away, which pulled him further in. So it's like, this is great, I don't need to use a ward. I'll just kick you anyway. So OMG, falling behind in gold here. They're 4,000 gold differential. Equivalent turrets, they have all of the outers down, but it's Najin White Shield that are making the plays.
The one thing here for Shield that we can ding them on maybe is this Corki build, second item, Last Whisper. It's even debatable if third item last whisper for Corki is a
you
good
suggest
pickup.
the third item Leandris is not good for a Corki.
When you're trying to get style points, then it's definitely worth it. But, you know, to his credit, there's a lot of armor on the side of the team, but still, second item last whisper there, not quite as efficient as he could be.
Oh, Bloodthirster would definitely be great for him. Also, just for the poke he's doing with his rockets already.
Well, Gogoing's done well to get the Triforce and Frozen Heart so quick, I think, on this one. But we'll see, of course. LoveLing clearing out. They will find that pink ward, no doubts about this one, like yesterday. That's going to get cleared out easily. Can they collapse on towards Ggoong here? Ggoong and Watch just over the side, and again, that threatening Dark Binding from Gorilla keeps them on their toes. And Najin Whiteshield will easily back off from this one and take the bottom turret.
Yeah, look at their focus. All of their wards are spent on this blue side jungle. Every single Najin shield ward is in this side, and that's where they're split pushing. They get the pressure mid, they easily get another turret here, pulling OMG across the map.
And even better, they can now go back, go up to this top lane here. Ggoong wants to try and push it in, and there's a huge minion wave waiting for them. Whoever goes back here, if they want to use teleport from safe, that is a lot of farm. And this wave up here, nobody's been top lane for a long time. It was pushed all the way into the tower of OMG, reset and push back here. So that's a lot of farm lost from OMG and now gained by Whiteshield once Corki comes up and picks up all of it.
Starting to see OMG falling into their habits here of trying to get kills en route, trying to find something, and just being too late to the party. If they'd have just focused and ran straight to that turret, they probably could have got it down, maybe put a bit of pressure on it, but instead,
Okay. This is their one play.
Okay,
no wards. Since all the vision for shield is spent on the bottom side where they're split pushing, this is a good call from OMG. This is their one play. Other side of the map, they commit to it, and they're going to pick it up.
That's a quick Baron. 29 minutes gone, and OMG take it. You're going to see Najin Whiteshield come in. They find Ggoong, they see the Baron. They all back off from this one. Save can Rift walk away if Ghoul decides to Spirit Rush after him.
He's going to keep vision of the 4 squad, though, to buy time for Ggoong.
Well, they're going to keep on going. Ggoong, he's stepped off to the side. He can get himself a juicy wave. And OMG, they're going to push up. They're going to run straight down the middle. They know that something is up here. They know that somebody is missing. Oh, LoveLing going in, trying to find save there. Culling going down, not really finding its mark. Does a little bit of damage to Zefa. They have the minion wave in. Can they try and go for it? They kick Jae-min. Quickly gets away from it. Oh, Monsoon from Cloud actually blew him out of the fight there. That was a mistake by OMG, and now they have to back away.
And now they have to back away. They had a pretty nice siege set up here, but the Kassadin was kicked in. They couldn't chain the CC onto him, so he got to Hourglass. Black Shield as well. Suddenly White Shield responding.
Here comes Ggoong. Ggoong joining the fight. Can they keep on pushing? Can they force them away? This is the Baron of OMG. They need to respect that. And I think that's why Najin Whiteshield are going to play this one cool.
And it's funny, because like your immediate reaction is, hey, LoveLing, pick a different target. Kassadin can jump back out. But everyone on this shield team can jump. The only thing is Kassadin also has a Zanya's. So
yeah,
probably want to pick another target.
And we did see how much wave clear there was on White Shield side as well. This Corki pick is just destroying the minions. You have the Kha'Zix to help in as well. Even Zed actually has pretty good wave clear. He wasn't here for this one. But it's very hard for OMG to actually get down and just push a tower. They have to try and get a pick first to get a kill. That's why LoveLing tried to go for the Kassadin.
Ggoong's going to get himself a gigantic chunk of minion wave coverage here. He's happy with that. So, gold between them. Still just 4,000. OMG, they're trying to keep it close. We're at the 30-minute mark. I think the average for Najin Whiteshield's around 35 minutes.
Yeah.
So maybe start looking to close it out. We'll see how it goes. Everyone's starting to pick up some big items, though, across the board. You can see Sand now with that IE, the Infinity Edge, the Ghost Blade, and of course, looks like he's building up towards that Bloodthirster next.
And OMG, they are going to still have this Baron buff for the Dragon spawn that's about to come up. They won't have it for very long, but they will have it to try and keep control of this area.
And it's really been a problem for OMG in this game. They have lost the Dragons. And when you're against a Kassadin, you don't want to lose these early game Dragons because that's where he's actually the weakest. And now you give him all this global gold, but quickly he just becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. And every single time, Cool was low.
Great maneuvering again. Najin Whiteshield shove the wave up the mid, forces everybody from OMG to get the blue, and they just lose all vision of the Dragon Pit with 30 seconds before the time, and Whiteshield have complete coverage.
Yeah, again, it's just so clear where Shield are going to go next because that's where they spend all of their money on wards. They move right in, prep for that Dragon. Now it's up to OMG to try and face check into enemy territory here. This fog of war is going to work for them.
That was clever.
You have the Baron buff. I mean, they can just push out mid here.
LoveLing caught.
Watch out
Sonic
for the skill
Wave
shot.
onto Ggoong there, and Zefa was so close to being pinged out and kicked in towards them. Of course, does have that Valkyrie to get away. Save's been caught out around the side, but again, they are so mobile. LoveLing caught out. Will they focus on it? Not going to catch the Phosphorus Brom on towards him. These teams, they're so slippery.
Yeah, but OMG is doing a very good job of staying away from this dragon because there's all these wards placed already. And it's
got him.
Zefa might be in trouble.
Sonny's Hourglass, he's going to rip walk away, but he's not going to get far enough. In goes Gogoing. They catch on. Ggoong in trouble. He gets exhausted. The dark binding's enough, but there's the hit. The double coming out from San. They catch on towards him. They're chasing on to Zefa. Gogoing is not done yet. Oh, doesn't quite get the slowdown. The Valkyrie is enough from Zefa. That will be the middle turret. And OMG started to cause problems for Najin Whiteshield. And the Korean crowd here is cheering for OMG.
They've made such good use of that Baron. The only thing that was left of them, that pocket without vision, they took it and they've grabbed everything. Now trying to shove in on this inhibitor turret. 2 solos down for Shield.
Gogoing's gone in. They've got Gorilla. They've caught him. Cloud's going to get caught out though. He's taking a lot of tower hits. That's going to be a good monsoon. It'll keep him alive. And the inhibitor turret will fall here as OMG start making some serious waves on Najin Whiteshield's base. They can back out. They can go for Dragon.
Such a nice play by OMG here, realizing we cannot go down to the dragon. It's fully warded. We don't even need it. Let's just go mid lane. Force Whiteshield to fight us and save in the back line. Caught out, dying.
They may lose their inner. They may lose their inner turret here. Najin Whiteshield look like they're going to try and rush straight up there, and they are a little out of position with low health. Remember, the Baron buff is now worn off. They do get the Dragon, no. Whiteshield not going to go for it.
Yeah.
It is a safe team after all, and they don't want to risk it.
Very, very hard for Shield to press right here. But again, all of those moves just brought the gold back to even here. Okay, let's take a look at how Save got himself into such a terrible
he
position.
went for it.
He rip locked in.
And lovely kick flash.
There we go. LoveLing. If you don't succeed, try again. He got the cast in again, this time with the kick. And no matter how many dashes he had, they were able to chase him down.
The crit. The crit came out from San there as well, which is what got Ggoong down just at the end there. So, Najin Whiteshield reset the clock here. They're suddenly behind on gold. And this is something they've not had for a fair amount of time. OMG, really, you've just got to give them credit. That one little Baron play has turned this game on its head.
That and, the over-aggressiveness there from Save. Right now, this is the strongest point here for Gogoing. He is a super tank with his Trinity Force. He's extremely threatening to this squishy Shield team.
We also have to highlight the fact Zefa didn't have his Infinity Edge for this last fight because he went for the Last Whisper second item, and normally Trinity Force into Infinity Edge is the best damage build for Corki early on. He just completed it now. There's of course a lot of armor on Gogoing, so this Last Whisper will be very useful for him.
And that's
but
the
he
problem.
needed Infinity Edge.
It's causing problems for Ggoong. Who's he going to target now? The QSS has now been picked up by San. Of course, there is a Zhonya's on the mid lane. You're not going to go for Gogoing because he is a super tank right now with that Radiance and Frozen Heart, and that's causing serious problems for Najin Whiteshield. They can't pick out anyone, and that's why OMG are feeling confident. They're just going to come in and brute force down this inhibitor. They've stripped half the hit points off as they back away and keep Najin Whiteshield pressured.
Yeah, Shield are definitely going to make an adjustment for the next game. Leaving Baron dark after 20 minutes versus a team coming out of the LPL is going to bite you in the back. OMG, remember, Gogoing's greatest fear was being indecisive. What got them back into this game? That decisive call.
Yeah. And can we also just give credit to LoveLing for his Lee Sin?
Oh, yeah.
It has been fantastic. Don't give this guy Lee Sin ever again.
Well, OMG realizing the speed and efficiency that Najin Whiteshield can collapse and chase on somebody that is low. It was cool that got caught out with the binding. Cloud was also dropped low, but Baron's up in 3 seconds. There goes the vision control. Oh, double warding. That's a slip up from OMG. But Najin Whiteshield, they're going to rush mid.
I do like the ward just outside the Baron because most people put the pink ward inside the Baron pit and then expect just to clear whatever's in there. The ward just outside, you won't see it with the pink ward. You need to place 2 now, and therefore they will be able to spot if Whiteshield tries to clear it away and start the Baron. Notice there, pink ward, can't actually see the ward.
Can't see it, and Najin Whiteshield are starting this one. OMG are close by. LoveLing's just off at the side.
Going down so fast.
Here comes Gogoing, is a super tank. He's ready, happy to fight and draw the attention, but he's not that strong. He can't take 5 members down.
Baron not regen again.
Picks it up. There goes the culling, though. It will force Najin Whiteshield away from Baron for now, and that will be enough, but it is a big death time already.
Risky. They're starting it again. They're very risky. Just back away now. You took too much damage. Gogoing, the hero here, the captain of OMG, sacrificing himself, stops the Baron.
Well, we saw it yesterday, of course, that flash rise They just went in and straight up 3v1.
It works, man. Just send in your top laner. That's how you stop Baron.
Get in and do the damage. Look at this. They're trying to sneak down the bottom. Cool is heading down there, but Safe is already there. So I think that wave is going to get cleared out. Can he manage to land and poke towards him? Has he got enough to take down Save? I'm not sure at this stage. He has that Zhonya's, remember. He's going to try and pick the charm. Not quite there. He does have the support. Sand's going to come down. They want to try and quickly take this turret and back away. I'm not sure it's going to work out for them because look at Najin Whiteshield. They're making moves straight to Baron.
OMG have plenty of wards, though. They can see it and act accordingly. They're going to collapse back on it.
Well, the ward just outside, and this is pretty bad research from Whiteshield because we have seen this a lot in LPL where people actually place 2 wards, one inside the pit and one just outside. They should know, and if they want to start a Baron, either use the sweeper just outside or have 2 pink wards ready.
And Gorilla even has an Oracle's upgrade. Not sitting around Baron entrance, though. Didn't get to see it. Trying to check the bushes instead.
Whiteshield must be questioning themselves. Obviously, you can see that gigantic gold lead. They had almost 5,000 gold at one point. It's all square now. They have that exposed inhibitor in the mid lane, so they have to keep check of OMG every time they shove that wave up, and they can't risk just going for Baron and then losing out. Safe. Oh, that sweeping lens did quite catch it. Yeah, did. I think it saw him, but he didn't want to risk going towards it. Gorilla will go in, but again, they're not spotting that single ward like you mentioned from OMG.
Another big
they're going to try and single him out. They're trying to go for Gorilla. Oh, good dart binding. Caught Gogoing. Slows him down. Not going to catch him at that speed.
Another big thing for that last team fight that we saw from Shield and OMG was that Shield solo laners were level 15 and they hadn't got that level 16 point to their ultimate, whereas both Gogoing and Cool had it. This time around, though, Shield solo laners have hit that point.
Ooh. LoveLing trying to make a pick. Can he make a play? We've said Lee Sin was going to be such a big focus for both of these junglers. Both want to get their hands on it. And it has caused some problems in earlier fights.
Ooh, and look at this. Gorilla is almost ready to complete his Zhonya's Hourglass, which Shield, you know, without that tank, they don't usually play with a hard tank. Having Morgana with an Hourglass brings a lot of zoning to a team fight from your support role. Really helps out these teams that do not run with the actual tank stats.
Yeah, it does mean, though, there's no Mikhails coming in to try and save a target who does get
Yeah,
charmed.
you have to dodge that
So
charm.
This Baron fight, this Baron bait, the back and forth, this is actually playing into OMG's hands. This is what they've done for the entire season in the LPL. They are well aware of how to play this dance, and they're not getting caught out by anything. Najin Whiteshield trying tricks, go in, trying to draw them in, will clear out the ping ward. And OMG once again clear out the majority of ward coverage that Najin Whiteshield have.
And OMG in the LPL, they were one of the teams that actually played around Baron really well. We just saw yesterday a lot of risky Barons, you know, from Royal Club, but OMG have been one of the teams that actually have worked around Baron and not been drawn over to that magnet. This time, though, this is risky having 2 people bottom. Shield, though, they would have to commit really hard to this Baron.
Yeah, but OMG still, they have the same ward just outside, so they know, okay, you didn't start it yet. Here's a fight.
Cloud, Gogoing's caught out. Is it going to be enough? I don't think so. Instead, he turns it around. He goes in for save. There's the damage. There's the Zhonya's drawn out. OMG back away. They knew that cooldown's going to be huge. DFG fired up. They go on. Saves the trouble. He goes down. They catch him out. Ggoong has to back away, but the colleague is ripping him apart. The Baronet comes in. LoveLing finds Zefa. Straight in towards the Black Shield. Tries to get caught out. Sands on it. There's going to be the Soul Shackles. Isn't enough. It will ping off. Cloud taken low, but OMG come out on top with a 2 for 0. They're not done yet. Gogoing trying to catch on Gorilla, not enough, but that frees up the Baron.
And OMG really show how good they are playing these dive-on comps here where you just rush onto whatever target you can get to and you just burst them down into it. The fact there's no tank on Whiteshield means Safe is the first target and he goes down very, very fast. He only has the Hourglass to protect himself.
Again, OMG, great play around the Baron. They didn't go for one of the risky ones. The one thing you can't say for Shield, though, is that they had both side lanes pushing during that. They did get shoved into the turrets. Again, though, second Baron here for OMG. Last time around, they made great use of it, and there's nothing to distract them from taking down the rest of these outer turrets. Those 2 secondary turrets should be pretty easy money for them.
You see it again here. So Safe actually jumps in. He's always the guy who wants to like engage because he's the only frontline member they do have, and he has the Hourglass. It's a good Black Shield. What now? I mean, you use your Hourglass. Cool still has charges on his ult. He can just follow him up, kill him. Aurelia can constantly dive on. The reason China loves Aurelia so much is because you can always dive onto the back line and just follow people and kill them.
And again, our featured matchup. That fight right there were the 2 solo laners of OMG versus the 2 solo laners of Shield.
Woo. Black Shield was just a fraction of a second too late, but it was enough for OMG to get Zefa down. They come in, Baron on, and in goes LoveLing. Thought about kicking, actually used it on Zefa. This time the Black Shield does get stopped. They are going to take down the inhibitor. They may lose their top turret here. Gogoing has teleport. We'll see if he backs off and goes to prevent Safe from taking that top turret. I think they will.
He needs to recall and go up. There will be a tower though for Safe because there's been so many minions constantly pushed into this tower here, taking it very low. Easy go for White Shield, but the fact that OMG got this very first Baron simply meant that White Shield could never get to a point where they could actually split push. Because they had to go back and defend it. Then they lost the fight, they lost the turrets, and the comp just never really managed to do anything because they lost that first Baron, and now OMG stronger in the team fights.
Shield tanked down the bottom turret, so OMG currently up in turret, 6-5, Baron on, inhibitor down in the mid lane, and the Korean Najin White Shield on home turf being pressured by the Chinese team OMG to make it an all-China semi-finals. Long way to go before we get there, of course. This is a best of 5, and that is honestly home turf for both of these teams. They're very comfortable in these best of 5 series.
Yeah, OMG are fighting to get further than they did last year. They swore that they were going to get much further this time around. Would be that point.
Stand the focus, but look at that Monsoon doing so much help. Ggoong goes in and just gets ripped apart by OMG. There goes the Captain towards him. Gogoing comes around the side. Zefa's the focus. He's tanking up the turret for days. Gorilla has to use the Zonyas. He's in trouble. He's going to get caught out. That's the second. There's a third capture as well. The inhibitor turret will fall. They're tanking it through. They don't care. They're going for the Nexus. Super minions get one down. They'll take the second, and the Nexus will fall. They dive on Zefa and keep him busy while the rest of OMG come around the side. The Nexus will fall, and OMG will take game 1 against Najin White Shield.
Such a good performance here by OMG. That Baron call was insane. They were behind, picked up the Baron, just rushed it instantly, and then they could just force White Shield to team fight where OMG had the stronger comp.
Yeah, I mean, it was classic Shield for the beginning of the game, pulling their team across the map, concentrating all of their wards where they were going to be fighting, but they left a crucial area open against OMG, the Baron, and they jumped right on it. By the way, OMG also ended the game by split pushing against Shield. They had Gogoing in the top lane, and it forced Shield to try and force that fight. Then he TP'd in and collapsed. Beautiful, beautiful game there from OMG, clawing their way back in from a single misstep.
Solid control overall, honestly. They were 5,000 gold down at that point. They managed to turn the Baron, and we were talking at that time how Najin White Shield were just controlling the map. The one part they didn't control was that Baron pit, and as you said, after the 20-minute mark, you cannot leave that area blind.
It is just too risky, and White Shield, they were constantly pushing the side lanes. They could have gone out and start split pushing. They had the lead, they had the wards down. It was looking great. And as soon as you lose the Baron, you're forced to go defend. Obviously, OMG could then just take the game, and they really showed when they play these 5 versus 5 team fight comps like they always do, like they love to do. That is scary stuff. If they get onto you, you die.
So looking towards the lanes, obviously the first time we've seen Cloud here as well. Looking good in game 1, honestly. He got his hands on Janna. We knew Thresh was going to be banned. We knew that could be a focal point. Where do we see it? Do we see any differences, of course, with the data change?
Well, of course, he's not. Cloud's not going to come in here and be a miraculous savior for everybody, but he was definitely an improvement.
Got a win over a Korean
He only
team.
died one time, and he was able to keep up vision control on that bottom side of the map fairly well. They fought, kind of blow for blow in that vision war. So definitely a good showing here from Cloud and promising results here for OMG.
And it was his very first game on the international stage, so probably some nerves coming in as well.
Yeah.
He's going to get better and better. OMG as a team, in best out of 5, they often actually lose the first few games and then just get better and better. They already won the first game here. That looks scary then.
Yeah, what a fantastic start here to this quarterfinals. Of course, for more insight into that match, let's send it over to Quickshot and the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, guys. I think OMG pulling a sneaky Baron, and I think the sneaky Baron is what allowed them to win the game. We'll get to that in a moment or two. Let's talk about the two team compositions. Najin Shield pulling out the standard double carry Zcast, and they did it in the group stages, and OMG beat them with it.
Yeah, they do this on blue side, for those of you who don't know, because both, as Kobe was saying at the beginning of the game, because both save and Ggoong can play both of these champions. So it brings a lot of flexibility, and it kind of eliminates that purple side counter pick that you get as last pick. Now, was it particularly helpful this game? No, it wasn't. I mean, Gogoing still got really far ahead of this Cassidy. Cassidy doesn't have a lot of tools in lane to deal with Aurelia, but that was kind of the thinking behind it.
Now, talk to me about the rest of the composition. We had sort of carry top laners for both squads, carry mid laners for both squads, mid-game sort of AD carries on both sides. I feel like both of these team comps stylistically were very similar. Doublelift, what do you think?
I really disagreed with the Morg pick this game because really the only thing there is to Black Shield is LoveLing's ultis, right? And he didn't do that, and LoveLing just constantly kept kicking Watch and kept kicking Zefa into his team. His reaction time really isn't good enough to merit picking Morgana.
Yeah, as actually I want to touch on that point. We can call the graphic down by now because we know like what the comps are like. But I think the Black Shield's actually good because in these fights, a player I want to highlight is Gogoing, and his E usage on Aurelia, his stuns were on point, and that's the only reason they were is because he manipulated the Black Shield. But you can Black Shield Charm as well, the stun. So there's enough CC that Black Shield works. Plus Gorilla played such a good Morgana. His binds were on point, and one more thing about the Morg matchup, if you look at the 2v2 bottom, if you were thinking purely in terms of trades, Janna Lucian should win that, but they won that lane because Corki Morg pushes so quickly, and that opened up the map for Najin White Shield so well. So I like the Morg pick, I like how he played it, bar his first bind on lane. I think he played such a good Morgana, and I'm going to stop whining soon. But the Frost Queen's claim, last point, was just really well used. It's the first time I see a Frost Queen's claim rush that I agree with, and he used it so many times, set up his bind, set his ultis. Okay, I'm done.
Well, it functions a lot. Now, when we talk about Najin White Shield, the way they like to play the game, especially with the Zed pick, is we often see them take Zed Janna, okay? So we see him, the engage from Ggoong on Zed, he goes in, and then he leaves his shadow next to Janna, assassinates a target, comes back to Janna, heals. So this is functioning very similarly. Comes back to the Morgana, there's the Frost Queen claim going out for the peel, and you could just disengage with Morgold and the bind as well. So I think it does suit stylistically. And this was only Gorilla's second professional game ever on Morg, so not something that OMG was expecting for sure.
I just want to point out how weird the mid picks are, in my opinion. First pick Zed when Janna's open. Janna's historically been a counter to Zed. Not only does Janna pack exhaust, but ulti will blow Zed away, and Zed's ulti no longer puts a shadow right next to you. It puts it where his original location was. So Janna's just like a natural counter to Zed. Also Ahri, to me, Corki poked Ahri out before every dragon fight. That was probably one of the biggest reasons why Cool was unable to participate in any of the dragon fights, and OMG just had to give everyone up. Honestly, Ahri had very little game impact and didn't even win lane, so I didn't really understand why Cool had picked Ahri in the first place.
Well, the entire composition from both of these squads relied a lot on picks, finding those kills. Let's pull up the replay that we do have in the middle lane. It's actually both teams securing some kills. Let's roll this clip out, and maybe Doublelift or Crepo, you can chime in here on how these teams are trying to set up these individual kills on high mobility targets.
All I know is LoveLing's a god.
Yeah, this guy is so going to listen. He basically broke open this match together with Gogoing. Every fight he would go in and find a way to either kick somebody, flash kick, or kick flash. He basically differentiates between the three versions of catching people out, and he's so smart.
And I just want to point out that before he made that big play right there, the map was completely Najin White Shields. They had taken mid tower. They had actually taken, if you look at all three outer towers, this is a really good play by Save, by the way. He just went in and got a sick pick with Zefa's rockets.
And they chase Gogoing down in a second as well. Najin White Shield going to find the kill, and they lead to Dragon.
This is the limit of OMG's comp. If they burn all their firepower, they can get turned out so well. But at the same time, the catches from both teams are just so vital. Whoever finds the pick can win the game. But I think throughout the game, Najin White Shield has more pick potential, but loses the initial 5v5 fight. And that's actually why they ended up winning, because in the end, they started team fighting against the Janna, and
well, that and the sneaky Baron. I mean, if this Baron sneak didn't occur, we'd probably be looking at a different outcome from this.
Let me pose a thought to you guys, because I felt watching this game, Najin White Shield demonstrated better minion, side lane control than I think any of the teams I've seen in the quarterfinals. At least you had an extended laning phase, it was easier to demonstrate it. But while they were pushing out those lanes and controlling it, it opened up the possibility for the sneaky Baron from OMG with all of these carries. And from there on out, OMG was smarter about playing the map. Agree or disagree?
I think OMG was smarter when it came to Baron vision. They had that one ward, if you guys remember, right outside of the pit to the left. Yeah. They sneaked that ward, and it's such a typical ward. And I think Najin White Shield is a good adaptive team, and they will learn. And next game, if there's a Baron contestation, those spots will be swept immediately. And that's, I think, where the difference is going to come.
Doublelift, we saw a first round pick Janna for OMG. We saw Cloud on stage. I instantly feel his presence was more notable than Dada's from the group stage. It's a little unfair in game 1. But what's your take on seeing the team now, considering you thought Shield was going to win this until Cloud was added?
I really think they were prepared for this match. I mean, when they saw that first pick Zed, they immediately reacted with that insta-lock Janna, and I think that was super smart. Janna is historically a counter to Zed, and if they think that Ggoong, and Gorilla's really good Janna, it takes away from that. I had heard before that Cloud was a two-trick pony. Historically, he only really plays Nami and Thresh in the LPL, but the fact that he was able to break out Janna for the first time on World Stage, that's really impressive to me.
Yeah, and when we go into the next match, now, this is the second quarterfinal where I feel that we've seen a Korean team kind of test the waters with a... this time it was a very classic Shield draft. We've seen this virtually identical draft earlier in this tournament. When Blue came up, they tried the same kind of strategy that didn't really work for them in the Champions Summer Final. I feel that they're just like getting a feel right now, and the adaptations we're going to see in Pick and Ban will be pretty dramatic in the next game.
I hope we get a winning lane matchup for Gogoing because he's the one that kept OMG in that game because all the lanes were either equal or getting pushed in, but he was winning his lane to the point where he could open up the map again, and he's basically like the rock-solid player of OMG.
Yeah, I'll be honest, without LoveLing and Gogoing's plays that game, OMG had really no chance. The Baron call was good, but what kept them in the game after Dragon, losing all those objectives, was really just LoveLing and Gogoing. So hopefully they have better game. LoveLing actually had a really awful start. If you remember, he got killed at level 2 at Kha'Zix's red buff, and he was still able to make such a big game impact. I wonder what will happen if he doesn't start the game off dying randomly.
Yeah, LoveLing, very aggressive. The number of flash kicks we've seen throughout the game, the success rate can be debated, but nevertheless they went in. Guys, we are going to take a brief break in the action. While we're off the Rift, Najin White Shield tells us about their emotional journey to Worlds.
서머부터 저희 실드가 이제 멤버가 바뀌고 제가 탑으로 포지션을 바꿨잖아요.
솔로 랭크 10등을 딱 찍었을 때 나진에서 연락이 오더라고요.
제가 약간 늦은 나이로 나진 쉴드에 이제 입단하게 됐는데 이 나이로 이제 프로게이머로서 성공할 수 있을까.
저희 팀에 마티 형이었던 노철이 형이 나가면서 새로운 재걸이 형, 소드에서 그래도 경험이 많았던 정글러잖아요.
탑을 잘 키워주니까 제 실력도 늘고 그렇게 팀 스타일을 찾아간 것 같아요.
그냥 원맨쇼! 원맨쇼예요! 세이브 있어서 왜 이래요? 혼자 세이브는 정말 굽이 불린 망아지가 아니라 그냥 미친 망아지 같아요.
한 단계 한 단계 올라가는 게 되게 뿌듯했고
우여곡절 끝에 명경기들을 많이 만들면서 올라가게 되어서 좀 재밌게 경기한 시즌이었던 것 같아요.
준우승했으니까 다음 시즌 우승하겠지. 뭐 그렇게 생각했어요. 팔 8강에서 승승패패패를 당했잖아요.
기분이 되게 오묘하더라고요.
팀원들과의 신뢰도 좀 떨어지고
초심에 가졌던 마음이 조금 나태해지지 않았나.
그래도 아직 우리 롤드컵 남아있고 멘탈을 좀 추스렸던 시간이 필요했던 것 같아요.
거의 막 반쯤 포기했었어요. 감독님이 새벽 4시에 부르시더라고요. 니네가 하나 된 게 중요한 거니까 부담감 갖지 말고 편하게 해봐라.
뭐 마음 편하게 해. 네. 알지? 충분히 이길 수 있으니까 마음 편하게 가자. 네. 자, 가자. 하나, 둘, 셋. 화이팅!
저희 팀과 KTB가 선발전 1일차에서 붙게 됐을 때 들리는 말로는 언더도 그런 진출권에 진출하지 못한 팀들끼리의 대결이라고 자극을 엄청 받았었어요.
대회 때 오니까 게임을 너무 잘하더라고요, 다들. 좀 웃으면서 했던 것 같아요, 이제.
이 분위기면 KTA는 이길 수 있겠다. 결과적으로 이기고 나서 이제 SK가 남았었잖아요. 4경기 때 저희가 바론을 시도했는데 페이커 선수가 뺏어가셨잖아요. 잠깐 한 2, 3초 동안 정적이 왔어요.
침착하게.
쏘리. 괜찮아, 침착하게. 오케이, 괜찮아.
우리가 이길 수 있다 이런 식으로 생각하고 다 같이 좀 으쌰으쌰했던 것 같아요.
제가 마지막 한타 때 죽으면서 페이커를 끌고 죽었는데 사형 선고를 걸면서 딱 생각했어요. 아, 이건 이겼다.
그때부터 소리 지르기 시작했었어요.
그냥 롤드컵 보기만 하던 걸 이제 내가 가는구나.
끈질김인 것 같아요. 다른 팀들과는 다른 끈질김을 갖고 있고
뭘 하든 뻔한 결말은 재미가 없잖아요.
우리의 노력과 집념이 선발전을 통해서 보여진 것 같아서 정말 기뻤어요.
저희 팀 하면 이걸 나진이라는 단어가 있잖아요. 불리하다가도 역전을 하게 되니까 막 이걸 나진 이러는데 솔직히 나진 실드가 우승할 거란 생각을 잘 안 할 것 같은데 롤드컵 결승전에서 전 세계인이 이걸 나진이를 외칠 수 있게 꼭 우승하고 싶어요.
저와 나진 실드 꼭 주인공이 돼서 주목받고 싶어요.